Imagine waking up one day to discover that one man, not a president, not a general, but a private tech entrepreneur, has quietly pulled some of the most critical American technologies out from under Washington's nose and handed them to the world. That man, Elon Musk. You may know him as the brain behind Tesla and SpaceX, but in 2025, Musk made a move that sent shockwaves through both the tech world and the geopolitical stage. He didn't just change business strategies, he redefined the balance of power between nations and private enterprise. This is the untold story of how Elon Musk is building a stateless tech empire and why it's sending Washington and the world into a frenzy. Before we dive in, if you're finding this topic eye-opening, hit that like button and share this video. It helps us reach more people who care about where the world is heading. The real fracture came on June 5, 2025. On that day, Elon Musk publicly cut ties with the U.S. government. He lashed out at President Trump, accusing him of ingratitude, and announced that all federal partnerships with his companies were over. It wasn't just a tweet storm. It was calculated. Tesla's stock had dropped 14.3%, wiping out $150 billion in value. But insiders knew this was no sudden outburst. For months, Musk had been quietly peeling his companies away from government oversight. Tesla stepped out of EV funding programs. SpaceX pulled back from Pentagon work. Starlink stopped cooperating on defense satellite projects. Quiet, surgical, deliberate. His message? If the U.S. punishes innovation, he'll take that innovation elsewhere. Here's where it gets really interesting. The U.S. military once relied heavily on Starlink's low-orbit satellite internet. But earlier in 2025, when the Pentagon requested override access to Starlink during critical defense missions, Musk said no. The Pentagon retaliated, cutting SpaceX out of $4 billion in satellite contracts. But Musk didn't flinch. Instead, he turned to BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. India welcomed Starlink's expansion, ignoring U.S. pressure. Russia showed interest in Starlink's encrypted communication systems. Quiet talks, leaked documents, whispered deals. Musk wasn't leaving defense work. He was just changing his partners. And this leads us to one of the most pressing questions of our time. If Starlink doesn't answer to the U.S., who does it answer to? Tesla wasn't left behind in this global pivot. When the U.S. slapped new tariffs on electric vehicles, Musk cut ties with federally backed infrastructure projects and went south to Brazil. There, he inked a $2.3 billion deal to build EV charging stations and battery research centers, bypassing all U.S. rules. He rerouted supply chains through South Africa and Malaysia, dodging North American ports and building what insiders called a firewall against Washington's policies. But the boldest move? China. In May 2025, Musk quietly got approval to embed Tesla's auto bidder AI into Guangdong's state-run energy grid. That's a U.S.-built algorithm running China's power system. And because it wasn't classified as an EV tool, Musk sidestepped U.S. export restrictions. Washington launched an investigation, but Musk said it was all perfectly legal. Experts weren't so sure. As one put it, this isn't about trade law. It's about sovereignty. This didn't go unnoticed. U.S. allies like Germany, Japan, and Australia began to panic. Starlink had become a backbone for emergency communications in many countries. But now, they couldn't be sure who controlled it, or whether it would be there when they needed it. Japan delayed Starlink's rollout. Australia flagged Musk's unilateral cuts to service near Gaza and Crimea. He had made those decisions with no oversight. And yet, none of these countries backed out. Why? Because Starlink still delivers the fastest, cheapest, and most reliable service. That's the paradox. Even when Musk rattles the system stays hooked on his technology. Quick question for you. What do you think governments should do when private tech becomes too powerful? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. While the U.S. and its allies hesitated, China moved in the opposite direction. Beijing handed Musk full regulatory approval to expand Tesla's Shanghai Gigafactory. They gave him exemptions from data regulations that even Chinese tech giants couldn't get. And the icing on the cake? Tesla was invited to co-lead a state-funded EV research center in Hefei. Musk wasn't just tolerated in China, he was welcomed. As one analyst said, China doesn't need to control Musk. It just needs to give him room to grow and make sure he keeps choosing Beijing over Washington. So what did the US do? It started pulling Musk's companies out of key federal groups. Tesla was dropped from EV infrastructure panels. X.AI was removed from the National AI Strategy Group. Meanwhile, U.S. agencies opened investigations into whether Tesla's AI should be considered dual-use tech, which could lead to tighter controls. But here's the truth. Musk's companies no longer needed Washington. He had built a system that ran without U.S. subsidies, oversight, or approval. By mid-2025, Elon Musk was running a truly global, stateless tech empire. Tesla's AI was powering China's energy grid. Starlink was connecting India and Brazil. SpaceX was launching satellites for international clients. X.AI was training models in UAE data centers, far from U.S. jurisdiction. He wasn't just scaling up a business. He was redesigning the global tech map on his terms. Governments now face a tough question. Can they trust a private empire that answers to no flag? This isn't just about Elon Musk. It's about a new blueprint for global power, one where innovation lives outside the borders of nation-states. Governments are scrambling to figure out how to regulate private actors with international reach. But the truth is, they're playing catch-up. We've entered a new age, the age of the stateless technologist, and Musk is its first and most powerful symbol. Elon Musk's pivot marks the end of a long-standing assumption that American innovators would always stay loyal to the American system. He's proven otherwise. And now, the world has to adjust. Will other entrepreneurs follow suit? Will countries tighten controls or double down on public-private partnerships? We don't know yet. But one thing's for sure, we've never seen a shift like this before, and its impact will ripple across geopolitics, industry, and innovation for decades to come. If you found this breakdown helpful, give this video a like, subscribe for more deep-dive geopolitical insights, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching.